Jake's battle with the felt begins. Jake has to deal with tons of weird time powers, and Cans knocks everyone over to Lofoff. On Lofoff, Karkat and Arqueusprite lighten the burden a bit when Karkat picks a fight with Clover, and Cans knocks Arqueusprite and Gamzee into the fight with the Condess and follows them. From there, Cans knocks the two to the battle on Lotak, then they both end up back on Durst, leaving Gamzee on Lotak. Dad bursts into the fight and holds himself pretty well against Cans, despite the Felt member's amazing strength, even bringing down an entire tower when he delivers the knockout blow. While Karkat at first has trouble with Clover's amazing luck, he eventually manages to tie Clover up, winning his own little fight. Jake is killed in the battle with the rest of the Felt by Crowbar, but is revived when Jane arrives and starts helping. The two get overwhelmed when Casey, the Viceroy von Salamancer, arrives and uses his army of skeleton consorts in an attempt to help. Jane leaves, and the fight continues once the skeleton army is removed. Against all odds, Jake triumphs over the Felt, leaving Crowbar speechless. While she initially has trouble keeping up with PM and Bec Noir as they teleport around the Incipisphere fighting, Jade eventually catches up with them and tries to stop their fighting by intercepting their attacks. PM eventually gets tired of Jade's interventions, knocking Jade out in an impressive display of ignoring his doggy instincts, and continues to fight Bec Noir, slicing his arm off and removing his powers. She snags the ring mid-air, delivers a knockout punch, and howls victorious. In the furthest ring, Hussey leaps out at Vriska and fights her, distracting her from the house juju until the right moment. Lord English makes quick work of a good portion of the Ghost Army, although Mina, Aradia, and the others give him a bit of trouble briefly, especially Mina and Aradia with their heart and time powers. As he starts incinerating more ghosts, Dave Petta intervenes, dealing the first real bit of damage to Lord English. Caliborn fights and kills his denizen. Walking deeper into the lair, he comes across a red chest and a god-tier clock bearing the time symbol. During the fight with Spade Slick and Lord Jack, Dirk is killed by Spade Slick. Terezi and Dave use a Frey motif, combining their powers to see possible timelines and travel to a more ideal timeline where Dirk was not killed. When Lord Jack nearly kills Dirk again, the two use a second Frey motif, seeing where everything went wrong and preventing it from happening in the first place. Dave and Dirk use a Frey motif as well, attempting to rip out Lord Jack's soul, but ultimately fail. Gamzee's fridge shows up in the fight when Cans punches it into the frame. The battle is starting to go south when Lord Jack gets a chokehold on Dirk. Spade, seeing an opportunity, stops his strife with Terezi to get a chokehold on Lord Jack. Dirk shoots Dave a look, and Dave realizes what he must do. Charging forward, he slices all three of their heads off and breaks Dirk's unbreakable katana, its powers nullified by Crowbar's crowbar. The two future Daves grab Dirk's head and body, time-traveling away to get Dirk healed. Terezi and Dave do the same. Lord Jack's head rises up and implodes, turning into a black hole, sucking in both Gamzee and Crowbar's crowbar, and transporting them to Earth so Gamzee can raise Caliborn and Calliope and later help Caliborn on his quest, becoming 1/4 of Lord English. Rose, Roxy, John, and Kanaya begin their strife with the Condess. They pull out all of the stops, using their acquired skills, powers, and frame motifs to fight the Condess. During the fight, they are briefly aided by Jaspros, Jane, and Nanasprite, and Cans briefly arrives with Arqueusprite and Gamzee in tow. However, the Condess is able to get a hold of Jane and choke her to death. She quickly overwhelms Kanaya, John, and Rose and puts all of them in a psychic chokehold. Protected by her voidy powers, Roxy escapes the Condess's notice just long enough to get behind her and stab her through the heart with Bro's katana, a death reminiscent of her descendant Feferi's death by a bolt through the heart. Nanasprite revives Jane, Jane revives Dirk, Jack Noir's injuries are tended to by Miss Paint, and everyone meets up on the victory platform. Nanasprite brings Jane's dad to the platform, and he has a reunion with his daughter and, from his perspective, his adoptive father John. Everyone celebrates on the platform, though Terezi is worried that Vriska hasn't returned yet like she promised. WV and PM meet up, and WV takes her ring off. The two look at their respective rings and decide to destroy them in the nearby volcano. Caliborn fondly regards his juju chest's contents. Vriska finally wins her strife with Hussey and approaches Lord English with the juju chest in hand. Weakly getting up, Hussey gives Lord English a very clear message. It's game over, kid. Game over. Closing his juju chest, Caliborn turns to his god-tier clock and smashes it with Crowbar's crowbar, nullifying its effects and gaining what effectively amounts to immortality. With the rings finally destroyed in the forge, the agreement with Echidna is completed. The Genesis frog is finally set free from the forge and flies to the center of Skya, taking the place where the tumor once sat. There it hatches, speaking the vast croak and becoming the new universe. Suddenly, the red house door flips and becomes white. Dave fast-forwards the time on Earth until it unfloods, and all the kids turn to head through the door. Calliope summons 3 discs and merges them together to create a black hole, sacrificing herself in the process. It absorbs the green sun and begins to absorb everything within the circle of destruction created by Lord English. With the green sun destroyed, Lord English's main power source vanishes. His eyes stop flashing, fixing on the 8-ball as Vriska approaches, with the Juju in her army in tow. Opening the chest, the giant White House Juju lands, and the door opens on its surface, just as a similar door is formed on the victory platform in the Alpha Kid session. In a complicated pool metaphor, Vriska and Lord English have traded places, with Vriska becoming the Q-stick and Lord English becoming the 8-ball. Using the Q-ball represented by the House Juju, Vriska knocks Lord English into the pocket represented by Calliope's black hole, and when the 8-ball is knocked into a pocket in pool, it's game over. In the new universe, the kids build Cantown, bringing all the Carapacians to handle things while they're away for a while. Using the ectobiology labs, they create a bunch of human, troll, and Carapacian children, leaving them in the care of the Carapacians, and travel far into the future, where they are lauded as the creators. Terezi does not come with everyone else, leaving to find Vriska in the furthest ring. Jane and Jake become the leaders of Crocker Corp and Skya Labs, respectively. A couple of weeks after celebrating Halloween for the first time in the new universe, Roxy and Calliope are having dinner and invite Jane. However, some would-be assassin hijacks her teleport, sending her to the moon, which is about to have a hole blown in it as part of a celebration. Calliope and Roxy head out after Jane. Meanwhile, the Felt is trying to rebuild in the Incipisphere when they find the victory platform. Entering, they arrive at the moon and attempt to accost Jane. However, Jane easily overpowers Spade Slick, mind controls him, and becomes the new leader of the Felt. Everyone heads into Biscuit's oven and survives the potentially deadly Ray of Doom. Years pass. Our heroes age from 16 to 17, 17 to 18, and so on, all the way up through 20. With each of John's birthdays, fewer people are able to attend for as long, as they all have responsibilities now. Nobody is shown attending John's 20th birthday. The only present shown is from his father, an authentic dad pipe and hat, accompanied by a proud fatherly note. John receives a message from Caliborn, taunting him to come and fight him now that he has his Juju and immortality. Frustrated, John smashes his phone with a hammer. It is assumed that sometime after this, the kids will all zap to Caliborn's lair and fight him as shown in Caliborn's claymation masterpiece. The 4 Beta Kids will be sealed in the Juju, only to be released by Vriska so that Lord English can be sealed in the Juju and knocked into the black hole. It is still unknown what happened to Vriska and the Beta Kids. Perhaps someday there will be an epilogue, but until then, thanks for playing.